Hi, welcome to episode 7 in our series Learning to Forgive. I hope that you have been blessed in the last 6 episodes that we have covered. And by way of reminder, if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do so. If you think that these videos have been a blessing to you, please share with others. Do like and comment, ask questions, interact with other people in this community. In today's episode, we are going to take some questions and tackle them. These are some of the common questions that are being asked. Question number 1: how soon should I forgive a person? Can I take time? Now, of course, I have been saying that you should not rush into forgiving someone. You should take your time. However, you don't have forever to forgive someone. Perhaps if I rephrase the question back to you and say, how soon would you like to experience freedom in your life? How soon would you like to be free from your trauma? How soon would you like to experience blessing and healing in your life? How soon would you like the peace of mind and a guilt-free conscience? The sooner the better, right? So I would encourage you that as soon as you have finished the series, or even while you're going through it, start the process of forgiving the person. Don't take forever to do that. The sooner, the better. Second question that I have been often asked is that once I've forgiven the person who has hurt, should I get back into a relationship with them? Now, that depends on whether you're already in a relationship legally with them. It also depends on whether they have changed their behavior. Some people may have been in an abusive situation, and for their own safety, it would be best for them to stay away from that person. Even though you may have forgiven that person, you should still be staying away from them until you have seen a change in their lives, until you have seen the finger of God working in their lives, and you're confident that they are no longer who they used to be, that they actually have changed for the better, that you can now trust them. I would leave that to your judgment. You should know when you should get back into a relationship with them. Obviously, if there's marriage involved, your former partner who has moved away from you and is now married to another person, you should not wish to get back into a relationship with them anymore, because that is a closed case. But you can still forgive your former husband, your former wife, and receive your own healing. But you should not seek to have a relationship with them now that they're married to someone else. Proceed cautiously, ask God for wisdom, and take advice from mature and wise people as well, if and when you should get back into a relationship with the person that you have forgiven. If it's your parents, then you should seek to be reconciled to them as soon as possible. God may show you some steps that you need to take to slowly get back into a relationship. Again, that is something that you need to seek counsel for and seek God's wisdom in doing so. Another question that I have been often asked is that sometimes people say that I have forgiven that person, but why do I still feel some pain in my heart whenever I think of them? I was once told that forgiveness can be compared to peeling an onion. When you start peeling an onion, you find that there are several layers to the onion. Perhaps you have dealt with the first layer, and once you have dealt with the first layer, you have received a measure of healing, but it's not completely gone. The pain is still there because there's some deeper issues that you haven't dealt with, and then you need to deal with those deeper issues as if you're forgiving them for the first time. So basically, I advise you to go through the same process that you went through the first time. You don't need to go back to that issue that you have already forgiven, but this new issue or the deeper issue that you've just discovered, deal with that as if you're dealing with it for the first time, and go through the process of forgiveness like I have mentioned in my previous episode. Do that and you will find more healing. And like peeling an onion, there may be several layers of forgiveness that you may have to go through. So once you've gone through all the layers, then when there's nothing left, then there will also be no pain with the memory. In my previous episode, I mentioned to you that we need to pray out loud, but I didn't really explain why. So in today's episode, I would like to explain why we need to speak out loud. Now, speak out loud doesn't mean shout out. Just make sure that you're audibly praying, that at least if there was somebody sitting next to you, they would be able to hear. So it doesn't have to be loud, but it needs to be audible. Why? Now, the reason is that the Bible says that we have an accuser called Satan. He's the devil, And he is the one that is the enemy of our souls. And he is the one that brings afflictions and sufferings into our lives. Many of our troubles that we are facing today is the result of his doing. He is a legalist, so he usually works with loopholes or legal reasons that he can use to bring suffering into your life. And for example, unforgiveness is a huge legal issue. When you have unforgiveness in your life, then the devil has an opportunity to afflict you with different problems. And these problems, you will not find any solution through natural means because they are not natural in nature, they are demonic in nature. The person behind your problem, especially persistent problems, could be the devil. And one legal reason he has for that is your unwillingness to forgive someone. Now, when you have forgiven that person, then he has lost that legal reason. But the thing is that if you don't speak out your forgiveness and your confession to God, like I asked you to in my previous episode, then the devil doesn't know that you have forgiven the person because he cannot read your mind. The devil can only read your mind when he put thoughts into your mind. Otherwise, he cannot read your mind. God can read your mind, but the devil needs to hear your confession so that he knows he has lost the case against you. Remember that when it comes to forgiveness, we go to God's court of law, and God is the judge. And Satan is your accuser, and he can accuse you on legal grounds. Any sin you have committed, any unforgiveness you have, anything that you have done wrong, any moral law that you have broken gives him legal reasons to attack you. Since we are not dealing with other issues but just on the issue of unforgiveness, which is a major issue in itself, and it gives a legal ground to the devil to bring attacks against your life, we need to speak it out loud so that as we make confession in God's court of law, asking God to forgive us for our own bitterness and anger and resentment and vengeful attitude that we may have in our hearts towards the person who has hurt us. And as we release forgiveness and speak forgiveness to the person who has hurt us, the devil hears that and he says, oh, now this person no longer has unforgiveness in their heart, so now I have no legal right to attack this person. And then God declares you justified or forgiven, then the enemy knows that he has lost legal right to attack you. So he has to leave tormenting you. He has to stop hurting you. So that is why it's important that we speak out our prayers out loud, especially when it comes to forgiveness. Now, another question is forgiveness part of the spiritual freedom many people are looking for? Yes, of course. There's a huge talk today about spiritual freedom, and you can go into multiple websites to learn about spiritual freedom. But as I'm a Christian minister, I speak from biblical perspective on Christian freedom. There is true spiritual freedom that you can find through Christ, and I have created a course called Set My People Free, and it is listed on my website, and the link to my website is given in the description below. You can go to that link, look at my website, and learn more about spiritual freedom. Forgiveness is only a small part of spiritual freedom. There's a lot more to spiritual freedom that you can enjoy. So if you go to that link, you can have a look. You can decide whether you want to go all the way and enjoy the rest of the freedom that Christ has already purchased for you on the cross that can be yours. Take some time and go to that website. Now, with that being said, I would like to thank you for hanging out with me for these past 6-7 sessions that we have been together. And I hope that you have learned quite a bit about forgiveness. But I believe that the wisdom that God has given me would be useful to you, as my wife and I have ministered to many, many people in the past 2 decades, helping them, especially dealing with forgiveness issue. And we have seen so many lives transformed, so many lives changed as they learn to forgive correctly. So I thought that I should bring this to you via YouTube and via social media so that you can also be blessed. So any comment, any question you may have, please leave your comment and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So with this being said, I would like to close this topic for now. It's not everything about forgiveness, but I've covered all the basics, I believe. And there is more about forgiveness that you can learn also from the same website that I've given the link for in the description. And one of the courses that I offer there is called Set My People Free. So check that out if you would like to learn more about it. So with this, I close this teaching on learning to forgive, and I will start a new series. So I will keep bringing good biblical principles and teaching to you, helping you to apply those things in your life so that you can enjoy a more prosperous soul. I like to say goodbye and see you in the next teaching series I have. God bless you.